it do, baby? Hey guys, thank you for liking, watching, subscribing. Welcome to Vegetas Saiyan Army, and today we're talking about as the rise of Majin Vegeta again comes to the game in best of one. A lot of people are going to try to play against it, right? If 1 week something is being played that's control and it's winning, then people are going to try to adjust to that. If people are playing aggro, they're going to adjust to that. So when they play or add counter cards to their deck that are going to be good against the Majin Vegeta matchup, you should know how to play around it as well. So instead of being discouraged from playing Majin Vegeta, just know that this is a wide enough meta that this deck will catch people in surprise, and there are cards you can play against it, by the way. Remember, first of all, a lot of these decks are like, let's pretend there's a slug deck, right? For example, doesn't matter, and it's a 38 card like engine or whatever. A lot of these decks will be like 38 cards, and it'll be like the rest of the deck is 4 super combos, 4 negates, 2 jumpas, 2 overwhelm, or something. So like whatever, let's say that they want to add like Topo Righteous Aid or like whatever they want to add to the deck. Like what are they going to take out? They're going to take out consistency from the deck, whether it's from their champas or whatever spice they have in the deck, whatever. Or they might go even at their own engine and take away pieces that they need for consistency. Another thing to worry about as well is that like they need to see that like turn 1, bro. Like Majin Vegeta is going to kill you turn 1. One of the best counters against people that are trying to kill you is to kill them as early as possible, right? So like the best thing you can do is just go as fast as you can. But let's talk about some of the things that you can do as well as far as like deck building that'll help you. First of all is Megikabura. Megikabura is an insane card. One of the things about Megikabura that is like kind of a less like one of the cons about it is that it's a 2-drop. However, Majin Vegeta, remember, uses like no energy past turn 1, so it doesn't matter. Like and the reason you want to play Vegeta anyway is because he has Deflect, and you want to play it against a deck like Mecha Frieza or something, for example. You want to turn off things that are gonna rival, that are gonna use Aegis, or they're gonna KO, or things that are like maybe you can call off a Topo, you can call off a Floodgate Trunks, a Floodgate Mecha. I don't know, doesn't matter. Any Floodgate like the Servant Gohan from Baby, because like there's options. I mean, there's ways to get rid of like Majin, but obviously, but, like a lot of times, how many options are you gonna have turn 2 though, or turn 1? A lot of things as well about this. This is so weird. Like the best thing that nobody talks about that Majin Vegeta does, yeah, sure it's aggressive, sure it's green, it has a lot of great tools. Nobody talks about how it just kills your mulligan. Let's say you're playing against Dark Broly. Like, I love it when this happens. Like when people like, you know what? I'm playing King Piccolo. I mulligan, right? Or I look at my top 6, and I'm gonna keep my piano. I'm gonna keep my piano, so I have that turn 1, and then I'm gonna mulligan hard. I'm gonna do like a mulligan to find Violent Rays, and they don't fight Violent Rays, and they play piano turn 1. Like that's the biggest mistake you can do. So like you're making them like it goes either way. They can either put back the piano and hard mulligan for the Violent Rays, and that messes up their turn 1, right? That messes up what they're gonna do. Or they can like keep their turn 1, but now they're completely exposed. You only have 1 turn to get ready for Majin Vegeta. You gotta do it quick, fast, and hurry. There's a lot of decks that are easier to answer, because if your deck draws a lot, you're gonna find your answer. And a lot of decks, you just need to see the answer by turn 3 to 4. Like against like Invoker, if you want to answer like the 3-drop Vegeta that's Invoker, then you have to turn 3, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But against Majin Vegeta, you don't have a lot of time. Megikabura is great, back to the card, because, for example, like against Yellow, it has Deflect. So you have to have different cards against different things. Let's say you're playing against a deck that plays a lot of Floodgates, a lot of rivals that you might be scared of. Megikabura is great. Against Mega Frieza, you want to use your energy anyway, because you don't want to be exposed to Rogamo. You want your first swing to be... I mean, by the way, you honestly, at this rate, you can't calculate what Floodgate Mega's going to have. Because if you swing with Leader first, they can use, I don't know, Nimbus. If you swing with a Battle Card first, they can use the Supreme Kai Secret Rare, whatever. If you swing with a Unison first, they can use Mega Freezer Counterplay, right? If you swing with anything that's not a leader, they can combo the Samasu super combo and rest your leader. The best thing you can do, bro, is honestly tap 2 energy for Mechikabura so that they can Belmont your energy, which is super neg, and then swing with leader. Because you don't care if they rest Mechikabura, right? And then call off whatever arrival you don't want to see, whatever battle card or whatever floodgate you don't want to see. And it has a dual, it has another uh, thing it can do where you can grab your Dragon Ball. A lot of people like the Toa that's a 1-drop because it searches the deck for a Dark Dragon Ball, which is something that you want to mulligan for. Lightly mulligan, because you want a hard mulligan for your field. However, this is a 5th Dragon Ball, because once you play it, not only does it have Deflect and it has its great auto that it can turn off something that your opponent might play, but it also searches the deck for a Dark Dragon Ball and adds it to your hand. So it has a lot of great things going on, a lot of synergy with Majin Vegeta. Another thing, if you play Sin Shenron and you know just how good aggro Sin Shenron is with the cooler counter, then you know how good Majin Buu is. I used to play the Broly Secret Rare. I still have it. Bell mod KOing the 7-drop Majin Buu to bring out the Broly is great turn 2. But bro, a lot of people know how to play against Majin now, and a lot of games will just go to turn 3 because they will. And the best answer to somebody that's playing answers in their deck against Majin is honestly just countering. I was in the weekend tournament, right, for PPG, but I just got hired. I'm looking, I'm moving, I'm looking for an apartment, I'm trading my car in, I'm getting a new job, so I have literally 0 time. But I signed up just for the first 2 rounds, and on both of the 2 rounds, I procced that secret rare. I did it against Cell Xeno, really cool guy, really awesome deck by the way. And I got to turn 3 because the Cell Xeno leader can he can time walk you, so, and he did it twice. And I was like, all right, cool. So he shock and death ball, then I played Majin Buu Condition of Demonic Evil. And then round 2 was a Bulma. And I told him, hey bro, you can have the win. I'm just here for, I have to go, literally have to go. But like, he's like, oh, let's play. It's a Vegetas Saiyan Army guy, by the way, really cool guy. And he like topoed me. Oh no, he violent raised me, and I Majin Buu'd it. I was like, dude, for 3 energy. A lot of times, guys, this is a gas deck, and it's like an all attack deck, but it doesn't mean that you have to do that. Like, if you see a lot of the, like, I know it seems like an easy deck just because it's aggro, but it's way not, by the way. Like, there's a lot of thinking behind it. For example, the mulligan step. If you see that your opponent, like I said earlier, one of the coolest things about Majin is that it takes away your opponent's mulligan, but like the mulligan step is great because if you see that they put 6 cards back in their deck, it means that they're desperate and they're looking for the violent raise or the answer. And once they do that, then there's blood in the water, and the sharks are gonna come because that's the first clue that they may not have it. But if you see that they mulligans like 3, then you're like, oh, I think if it's a good player and you can sniff it out that it's a good player, they might have the answer. So like, don't go full out on turn 2. Just swing with leader, sniff it out. Is there a counterplay? What's going on? Then go full aggro, right? And if not, then try to survive that turn 2 and dig for the secret rare, and then start your next turn, and then try to go into the secret rare to go on your turn and just kill them, because turn 3 the secret rare will kill people no problem. And it's really relevant to have the. It's also like less deck space than the Broly, because the Broly requires the Bell mod, which is an amazing card by the way. I love Bell mod because you can KO like I love KOing like the King Piccolo drum blocker or whatever his name is, or like any, like they'll play it late because it's off the life. So like I'll take that life off, he'll play it, and like doesn't matter. This guy's great. A lot of great secret rares in green for Majin Vegeta. If you have the ape, which is free, the ape is just like a better. It's honestly a better lineage SCR in Majin Vegeta, because it's for 1 energy. You can KO anything in your own barrier. So like, I mean, you're not taking the card. I get it, but it's just like it's insane removal anytime for 1 energy. I'm not. I didn't just say it's better than not Kai SCR, than the lineage SCR. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying in Majin Vegeta's world it is, because you're not gonna get to 3 energy like that. So moving on, like bro, I'm telling you guys, Majin Buu Incarnation of Demonic Evil. I'm not trying to like sell it. I'm not trying to like hype it, but like if you know how good the cooler yellow counter, the cooler counter. If you know how good that card is in Sin Shenron, which is like a very similar deck, then you know how good. Oh look, the like green is like shattering at the 40k. I never noticed that. It's kind of cool. It's nice art. I don't know. Next card I want to talk about is Focus Breakthrough. Mechikabura turns off floodgates. Focus Breakthrough does as well. You can play both. Focus Breakthrough, you're not gonna be able to do it for free by taking a life because you're not charging multicolor, but you are using one energy. But it doesn't matter. Again, Majin doesn't use this energy. It's a free deck, so like, yeah, use it. Get to 4. It's easy to get to 4 because he takes its own life. Most answers are, well, a lot of the answers that people have against Majin Vegeta get killed by Focus Breakthrough. Go to Vegetas Saiyan Army. Every week, every Friday, we have a Saiyan of the week. This week it was Jason Scott. Before that, it was Jacob Yost, Brandon Snyder, all got first place with Majin Vegeta. Brian Reed is an incredible Majin Vegeta player. There's way more. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting you. Daniel Buchanan isn't. Oh no, he's playing something else, but he got Saiyan of the Week as well. Majin Vegeta was also piloted by Caesar Sheen Jr., another good player. We have a lot of people that were playing Majin Vegeta, and they all play different things. And I remember a couple of you guys were playing Focus Breakthrough because like Topo Righteous Saiyan is coming back heavy, especially like in launch, and like a little bit in Piccolo sometimes here and there. And it's a great counter. Like it's a great counter. Like if you're playing Majin or if you're new to Majin, and you're being like I don't know, you're discouraged because a lot of people are gonna play counters, bro. Like they better see them turn 1. Like they're gonna draw into them. They're gonna fuck up their mulligan. They're gonna have to do it. Another great card is Koichikai. Koichikai, like Michikabura, has two great things about it, where it has like dual ability of like working your chain and helping your engine, and also like being super useful for your like build and for what your deck's trying to do. So like on the one hand, Koichikai is great because for 1 energy, it makes it so like your opponent can't play battle cards or 20,000 power or less on your turn unless they drop 2 cards. So if they topo, they'd have to like neg 4. So like if you Koichikai and they topo and you Focus Breakthrough the topo, it'd be like the funniest thing in the world. But I don't know if where to actually play it. I don't know, but that's another option, right? Against a rival targets, against blockers, against anything at all, right? Koichikai is just an incredible card, right? And like somewhat like you like to counter Majin, like I said already, you have to add so many cards in your deck to have it. And Koichikai just makes sure that even if you do have it, you have to like super neg on it. And nowadays you can wait to turn 3, and Koichikai helps you dig for that secret rare. So like if they do have it, just swing, they floodgate it, they neg 4 if they do, and then you literally just sit back on the secret rare, which you can dig for a Koichikai. The other utility that it has with the deck that I was talking about has like dual utility is it helps you against your opponent, and it helps you with yourself because it helps put cards at the bottom of your deck. There's chains that I'm going to talk about soon in the deck that require you to have certain cards in the deck, in the bottom or anywhere in the deck. Also, like your servants need to be in the bottom. This helps with that as well. So it has a lot. Also, like it's an incredible card. Like drawing, it sets up your deck. It messes with your opponent on your turn. Like it's incredible what this card can do. And like honestly, most floodgates or most answers to Majin Vegeta just won't work if you simply use Koichikai or if you use Megikaburo. Like if you use both of them, like it's kind of a big neg for them to see those cards. Next is Demigra Unison, Dormant Potential, and Frieza Charismatic Villain, right? So I'm not a big fan of using Unisons or counters in this deck. However, just because I don't like it doesn't mean I'm not gonna like try it. So in Vegetas Saiyan Army, we have a lot of different types of players. Some that come from like very slow decks. A lot of them are extremely aggro like myself. A lot of them love control. So it's great seeing these type of players try decks like Majin Vegeta because they'll give me ideas I would have never thought of, right? Some of them build like turn 5 Majin Vegeta decks, for example, with like Hirudegarn engines or whatever. But so I tried it. I didn't agree with it, right? Because I think it takes away from the deck space that you can use for like surprise attack Frieza, like overwhelms, like Champa double strikes, whatever to push in. But it does help you a lot. Because for example, when I tried it in this tournament I was using it in, I was like, you know what, I'm losing a bit of a kick, but at the same time, having Dormant Potential Unleashed as a safe backup after going all in, like, it's great because the clapback isn't going to be as bad. Demigra Unison of Sorcery, like if they try to stall you and not swing at you, I mean they're going to have to, they can't swing at the Unison because you can feel your field card with it, right? Also, if you play, you're going to play Demigra turn 2, by the way. When you play it, once you go into the boot chain, you can have your opponent drop one card and you can KO one of their battle cards because you have a Unison in play and the 5-drop KOs it, right? Freeze a charismatic villain. If the first thing you do in your turn is play a Demigra, if they do play a blocker or something that can like floodgate you or whatever, you can KO freeze a charismatic villain because if it's a blocker, like it's gone, right? That also triggers surprise attack freeze. So this actually does help Majin. It's up to you and your testing if you see that it's good enough, but it does answer a lot of answers to Majin Vegeta. One of the answers to Majin Vegeta is attack him a lot whenever you can. You know what I mean? A lot of answers to Majin Vegeta don't come on the Majin's turn. It'll come on your turn. You know, like if you lose a die roll with Majin Vegeta and they go first, and then they end up swinging a lot and they're Vegex or something and they like snap, cards like this are gonna help you because Dormant is great against those decks. You know what I mean? Um, and we'll get more into the Unison thing about how much it helps, but I just wanted to talk about the Migro for a second, and we'll get more into that because this is one part that helps the answers to Majin, but there's more, and I'll get to it in a second. As far as Unisons go, and that's Bardock. I understand Bardock isn't that great, right? But all of the things that make him that great are irrelevant in Majin, and all of the things that make him good are incredible in Majin. So like one of the things that makes him kind of not that great is that it requires 2 green. In Majin, doesn't matter. I don't use my energy. I don't care. So another thing is that like what? It's a turn 2 instead of a turn 1. Doesn't matter. I'm never playing Demigra turn 1. If you're playing Demigra turn 1, you're bad. You should be playing your field turn 1. I am hard mulliganing turn 1 for the field. Hard mulliganing. If I don't see it in my hand, if I like draw and I 6 cards and I see like a lottery ticket for $1 million and like 5 perfect cards, I'm putting it all back if I don't see a field. And I'm looking hard. I'm hard power shuffling for the field card, right? Turn 1 has to be the field. Doesn't matter. Turn 2 is when you play your Unison for 1 or 2, or if you run a Unison at all, right? Another thing that's that people don't like about it is that like the +1 isn't that great. Doesn't matter. You're only gonna use it for one thing. You're gonna +1, but as long as you can have Dormant, and as long as you can have Frieza, because the whole point of Bardock is that like this answers a lot of counters to your deck. A lot of things in this game need the combo area to like KO things that are bigger than you. A lot of cards in the for like a rival, maybe for things that like uh, a lot of things in a combo area that need skills to go off to destroy your chain. Maybe a lot of things that will play a blocker. Maybe things that will play something. The combo area is just honestly. Remember how the game started? It was just like energy, combo, and field. But the combo at this point, it feels like it's a second field in a way, like to some decks at least, right? And Bardock sends cards straight to the drop area. So a lot of these autos that need to like get resolved from the combo just may not go off. That's one utility, and that's not even the one that I'm talking about. The real one is that like once you go into your chain, which by the way it's free, and you play the slug, right? It's played for free. It makes it so that you can't swing at your Unison or the leader. So you can't even swing at Bardock. And then the Majin Buu, that's also free, that's in the field right now next to Bardock, says that like you can't swing at, you can't have your leader swung at unless they drop 2 cards once a turn, right? So the Bardock being on board just puts a gun in your head. It makes you choose. It's like you're in a hostage situation. Like if you want to get rid of the slug, I'm gonna freeze a counter you, right? So if you play something, and if you do get rid of it with an extra card and you swing, dormant potential, right? And then if you swing again, that's your last swing. And then you're gonna have to combo. But like if you swing at the Boo, which has a barrier, you're gonna have to combo anyway, and Bardock takes out that combo. And if you swing at all, you're gonna get dormanted anyway. So your second attack is either to get rid of the last slug or the slug, but you're gonna have to combo, which you won't with Bardock. Or you're gonna have to swing at the, or you're gonna have to just swing at the what's it called, at the Boo, which you'll have to combo up for him as well, and you won't be able to with Bardock. And if you play something, it's gonna get Frieza, and if you swing, it's gonna get dormanted. So you're just super stuck. With Bardock on board, it really helps that lock. Also, if you get to the next turn, and you have another Bardock put it under, it does have a triple attack. It is a triple attack 20k. It's a Unison, so it has barrier. it's a pretty good finisher. The Bardock Unison is heavily slept on, especially in Majin. There was a person who had 4 Bardocks in the main board in South America, which is a weird meta, I understand, but like he was playing the slug package, and I totally get. Oh, he didn't get first place. He topped though. And that's one thing he can do. Another thing I want to talk about is not just. I was just talking about just now cards that help deal with things that kill Majin Buu or Majin Vegeta chain. But now I want to talk about how to play against these decks, especially with different colors. I think this is the ratio if you're new to Majin Vegeta that you want to use. 3 Majin Quickening, because if you do 4, then there's too many extra cards and it's sacky. So 3's perfect, but not 2, because you also want to see it. It can't be in your life, right? Now, you can do 3 and 3 on the Babidi and Hatchak. The reason I'm doing 4 and 2 is because Babidi isn't dead in your hand. Also, it's green, so you can charge it. And like, let's say that turn 1 you played your field, and turn 2 I don't want to see Hatchak turn 2. I want to see Babidi turn 2. Because, like, if I can't... Let's say that I map out my turn. I'm like, wow, I could really kill him right now, but I can't awaken. You can just tap 1, play Babidi, look for the 1-drop Majin, play him, awaken, untap 2, go off. Remember, it's all free, right? You still have just 2 energy that you don't need, that you can just use for making Gamora, Hatchak, whatever. Or Koitikai, whatever. But if you are mulliganing, and if you have a Babidi, Majin, and Hatchak in hand, right? And you want to pick one, you want to pick Hatchak. Because Hatchak thins the deck of 2 cards, right? So, you're going to take the Babidi and the Quickening out. Also, you want Babidi on board because he's also just something to combo away. Something to Belmod. Something to +1 of the Bardock Unison, right? Babidi will be a second choice because it'll thin the deck of 1 card. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. Next up is going to be the Buu chain, the beginning of the Buu chain, right? Once the Quickening is ready, you're going to play one of these guys. If you're playing against green, play the Ghastly Energy, play the fat one. If you're playing against, and I mean, not just green, but something that you think you should be reading your opponent's energy. You should be reading the cards in their drop area, reading their leader. If that color or archetype or leader or a spice needs to choose, go for Ghastly Energy. For example, green KOs. So you want to play the Majin Buu against that, right? For example, like if you're playing against Turles is like a really bad matchup against Majin because they play the Demigra and they're just gonna sit on dormant, and then they're gonna play charismatic villain Frieza. So one thing you can do is just play the Majin Buu and like take out, because it takes out a counter and it has barrier, so they can't Frieza it either. Once you take that counter out, then you don't even have to swing it at the Demigra. Because one cool thing that Majin Vegeta does is that, like, dude, you're gonna have no, like, turn 1, even if you do have a 1-drop Unison, that I'm just swinging at it with leader. And if you're green, I'm just gonna play Majin Buu Ghastly Energy to take out the counter, and then I'm gonna swing at leader. So you have to read the room really well. If you're playing like the Majin Buu, looking for a fight against like a green deck, you're bad. Like, you have to play the right one. Like, sure, yes, red has a counter against his deck, and so does green. But if you're playing 2 and 2 of each of these guys, then you should be able to work around that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna play something that doesn't have barrier against a deck that chooses you, right? Deflect, if it's a counterplay deck, play the Deflect one, and it gets rid of something that's 4 or less and KOs it. Now I play one of the Majin Buu Distilled Malice Distilled, because I like, just in case I need the 7-drop in hand and I want to go into that chain. Now I have that, right? Now next up here, but be careful because Malice Distilled doesn't have Deflect or Barrier, so if you're playing against Black, and Black, by the way, does have the Kamehameha counterplay, but they have to be a 4 more life. If they're a 4 more life, play Majin Buu Malice Distilled, draw a card, doesn't matter. And if they don't have a blocker, you don't want to KO or anything. Next is the second part of the Buu chain. Now, one is Deflect, one is Barrier. Again, know your opponents, know your deck. The 4-drop, okay? The way these guys come out is after you swing with the 3-drop Majin Buus, these guys, you put the ball under it, right? The I think it's a 3-star ball, I forget. Anyway, once that happens, you get to play one of the Majin Buus I'm about to show you in over in active mode. Now, here, they both have pros and cons. In Vegetas Saiyan Army, we have very different players. At first, I hated the 4-drop. then I loved it, then I hated it, now I love it again. In that order, by the way. So what I'm gonna do is, guys, from now on, I think that the best way to kill people is because one of the big weaknesses of Majin Vegeta is itself. A lot of people are like, whoa, how will we ever beat Majin Vegeta? Don't worry, like we'll make like counters or like silver bullets for it. No, dude, sit back and watch, because somebody that doesn't know how to build Majin Vegeta will beat itself. I've been there. We've all been there. In Vegetas Saiyan Army, we've taken L's with this deck, bro. So what I'm trying to say is that you want to build it for maximum consistency so that you don't lose to yourself. Once you find yourself with this deck, once you know how you can be consistent, then it's up to your opponent to lose the game. You want your opponent to lose, not for you to lose. You know what I mean? Like, Majin Buu's great, but you want to set him up. The 4-drop Majin Buu, you're going to play him for free, like I said earlier. Once you play him, you look at the top 7 cards, and if it's one of the targets he needs, which is like a Xeno, non-black, that's like 8 or less or something, you play it, right? Not over it, you just play it. What's great about that is that it requires 0 energy, it has a barrier, and it doesn't play it over him, which means he's an attacker as well, right? Another thing, he's barrier, and when he's in rest mode, like I was talking about earlier, about the Bardock, if he's in rest mode, your opponent, if they swing at your leader, they have to drop 2 cards once per turn, right? So that's what's great about him. Now, what's bad about him is he doesn't have Deflect, right? But remember, he does have 2 counter windows, so you can like pick. I mean, you should be playing differently against a blue, red, green, black, yellow deck, right? This is the Deflect one, which is you'll play differently. If you play the Demigra Unison, if you played the Bardock Unison that I was talking about, the Deflect is really going to help you because also, when he's played, you take a counter out of a Unison, and your opponent drops a card, and it KOs a battle card from your opponent's side, maybe a blocker, who cares. But the evolve from this to the 7-drop will happen for 1 energy. It won't play it for free from the deck like the 4-drop. So what happens is now you have to have the 7-drop in hand. So playing this deck, it's not a brain dead deck, man. You really have to build it right, and you really have to play it right. Like, so the best way to play it, I think, is to have a lot of targets for the 4-drop and keep 1 7-drop in hand for the 5-drop in case you have to go to the 5-drop route, right? So the reason I'm so low at 2 and 2, by the way, is because you're gonna see them. They get played from your hand or from the deck. And remember, your life is gonna be low, so they're not gonna be there. If they're in your hand, don't combo them away. You know where they're at. They're either in deck or in your hand, so you should never whiff with these at 2. That's why I don't run them at 3. I never whiff on this part. Same with these guys. They get played from a drop area from a deck. If they go to your hand, just combo them away. You'll be fine. You should never whiff on this. If it's 2 and 2 and 1, you should always see it. I mean, if you want to be safe, I guess, but like, you should be fine. Your life is going to be low. They're not going to be there. Your whole deck is going to be in your hand, in your drop, or in your deck. And the only place you won't find them is in your hand. Luckily, we have a combo step, right? So, again, things that make this deck inconsistent. Keep the chain not too high, not too low, but somewhere where it's always going to be consistent. Don't lose to yourself, right? So, play the deck, have a 7-drop in hand in case you want to go the 5-drop route. And if you do, boom, very consistent. If you think that your deck has enough targets, go the 4-drop route. Screw it. And if not, play the Majin Buu Malice Distilled. There's a lot of things to think about, right? And if you do want to play the safe route, go the Malice Distilled, get the 7-drop, and evolve over it, right? If not, go the 4-drop. The 4-drop is way better attacking, but it's a higher risk. It's up to you. You guys have to build a deck. A lot of times, you know when you lose a game turn 5, it really wasn't 1 turn 5. It was 1 or lost like turn 3. Sometimes even 2 or 1. You know, it depends. Maybe it was lost on the mulligan step. You know, a lot of games are decided on a misplay, and you want to just you want to take away all the misplays you can play. Make as least mistakes as you can. Sometimes the game isn't even lost that day. Sometimes a game is lost like 2 weeks ago when you built the deck on a weird ratio, which, you know, we've all done that, by the way. I'm still doing it. I'm taking a big break from the game. Another thing you can do as far as adding a lot of targets is you can add 4 of the Majin Buus, 4 of the Slugs, 4 of the Turleses. I started just with 7 Majin Buus, and then I added the Slug because he's amazing. The best target is Majin Buu. he can also go up into the Broly Secret Rare, which is not what I'm playing, but it is worth mentioning. Dual attack, double strike. And if he's removed by a skill, like people want to talk about, like if you think you're going against someone that wants to remove him, great, play the 7-drop. Because when he's removed, it starts a chain all over again. It plays the 3-drop Majin Buu, and then it gets the ball back to your hand. It's super troll. And if not, just go into Lord Slug. If you know you've got the Bardock Unison, it goes into the 4-drop Boo free. Then it goes into the Lord Slug for free. It's literally free, triple strike 25k. Remember back in set 1, when you're walking by somebody's table, and then like it's set 2 or 3, like how do you have a 3-drop on the board? You have 2 energy. Like, this game is so free now, where you have a 6-drop turn like 2. But triple strike, 25k, beefy. It doesn't do as much damage as Majin Buu, because this one's dual attack double strike, which is a potential 4. But it does have more reach in one swing, which is a triple striker, right? Same 25k. Now, when it's in rest mode, your opponent can swing at Unisons or your leader. Turles isn't the best one. It's the 3rd best one. It's not that great. It's 25k, but it's double strike crit, which is sweet if they're at 3 life. And you're going to have a bunch of like more attacks after that. This is pretty sweet. You get the combo from the drop, but I just like the slug better because the crackback's harder. I am using the deck with 4 of each right now because I think that like I'm not losing to myself. You're gonna lose to yourself. Now, if you, and by the way, I'm probably gonna switch that. I'm probably gonna maybe go back a little less, maybe add more targets. Hey, if you add too many targets, one weakness of this is that you're taking away cards that deck might need. Surprise Attack Frieza, SS4 Bardock, a lot of free cards you can play. You know, Belmont, a lot of cards that you can play for free to put in more damage. A lot of maybe negates, maybe a Unison. I understand that. What my point is though, is that like if you do this early enough, this is enough to push somebody deep enough to win, to like for you to win the game. So like I'm going hard into this chain because this is what's gonna win me the game. And if you play it well enough, I'm pretty sure you can beat just about anybody. And if you play enough of the silver bullets that you have in your deck to counter whatever somebody else is using to fight you, this is what I'm testing right now. One Mekigabor, you can go up to more than one Mekigabor. I'm playing the 1, but like it's just a 5th ball for me, and I don't want to have too many black cards in my deck. Doesn't matter. Koichika, you can do more as well. You can just you can play like 2 Turles or 3 Turles and add those guys up. This is just a how do I say, like a recommendation. But I love having 12 targets. When you get to turn 2 and you're swinging and drawing, I counted, and I was on the that calculator that counts up the odds. But I'm always seeing tops 34 at the lowest like 28-ish cards. So I'm always at like the 32 range. So there'll be like 32 cards left in the deck, and you have 12 targets in the deck for the 4-drop. You're probably gonna proc because he looks at the top 7. Remember that. One of the great things that help is Koichikai. So if you have your Lord Slugs and your 7-drops in hand, Koichikai really helps because he puts the targets back in the deck. Another thing that really sucks is the Majin Quickening swallowing up targets. Again, Koichikai just puts them right back in the bottom. A lot of dual like use to them. We talked about the Hachiak, the super combo of Gohan. Puts them back in the bottom of the deck as well. Also, anything that bottom decks in this deck can also get your Prince of Destruction, Life and Death, or your 1-drop Majin Vegeta Servants, which they get played from the bottom deck, by the way. I can see myself playing 4 Majin Vegeta 3-drops and 3 Turleses, by the way. I can see myself finding room for them because I really love that 3-drop. Is like, if the chain ever fails, by the way, that's who you play, the 3-drop Majin Vegeta. It's literally a 1-drop 30k dual attacker. It's insane. We talked about these ratios. Okay, the Tien Shinhan at the bottom left there. When you combo with him, you drop a card, and then you put up to 3 cards from your drop area in the bottom of the deck. Right? He's great because he's free. You're always comboing in this deck anyway. And I know it's a neg 2, but you're comboing so much. When you're pushing with leader attacks or whatever, you're comboing your hand. You're comboing everything. You're going to get them low. Doesn't matter. So when you combo the Tien, let's say that you swallowed up 2 slugs and a Majin Buu in the quickening. You proc quickening, you play the 3-drop Buu, everything's in a drop area, you combo Tien. Let's say you have 1 target for the 4-drop. You drop it with Tien, and you send all 3 of those back in the deck. Your life is low. There's no targets in the drop area. There's none in your hand. So you know they're all in your deck. then you play the 4-drop. If you think that you haven't been able to do that with Koichikai or Tien Shinhan, and you think you might whiff, go towards the 5 route way, right? The 5-drop, Majin Buu way, which is from the hand 7-drop. So the card you should be dropping is a 7-drop. Hold on to the 7-drop, and if you need it for the 5-drop, play it. If not, combo the Tien, drop the 7-drop, and go right into the 4-drop. Is it a risk? Yeah. Don't worry though. I'm playing 12 targets, so it should be fine. And if not, like that's neg. But like, bro, turn 2. Again, that secret rare is incredible in Majin Vegeta. I've been testing it. It's great. I've been playing it. I've played it actually in a tournament. I used it twice. It felt so good. It's a 40k. By the way, it's a double strike. Remember, so it is pushing for a game. If you guys have questions, please ask. If you have questions about how to beat Majin Vegeta, I'm not gonna help you. I'm trying to make him great again. If you have questions about, by the way, guys, when you watch people build decks on YouTube or on Sharon's Lair, which is my favorite site, I'm always on that site, or if you're on OnTap, right? A lot of these guys are very good professional players that are building their decks for like top tier meta tournaments. If you're just going to locals, bro, and the best deck in your locals is like Vegex, you're gonna throttle their cheeks. That's the clapping part 2. Like, don't build your decks don't like just net deck, because maybe that person is building the deck to fight like aggro Sin for their big tournaments, because that's what's going to be played. You need to play your deck how against whatever's at your locals, so think about that. You really need to think about that, because most of you guys just play at locals, or most of you guys just play for fun at OnTap. Think about that. If you guys have questions, please let us know, because we are trying to help out with this leader. We're trying to make him great again. I mean, he's great right now. Best of 1, locals. In best of 3, I've taken him there. It's a lot more painful because now you really have room to bring things in. But so do you. If you're playing him in best of 3 and now you can keep your Koichikais in the sideboard, your Mechikaboras, and you can bring them in. Oh, I know you're going to side in. You're right. You're going to bring in Topo. They just bring in Mechikabura. Don't do that. Honestly, best of 1 is the best place to go for him. I really hope this helped any of you out. I just want you guys to play Majin Vegeta's. Him, Vegex, I love those 2 decks. I just want to help. If I helped one of you out today, I'm happy. I want to bring joy with this leader. I love this leader. He's so good. He's so cool. It's a good thematic deck. Coming up, I'm gonna talk a lot about the new King Vegeta coming out for set 13. My new favorite deck, probably. I've been playing him. He's insane. I say every Vegeta deck is my favorite deck because it's like they're my sons. I love SS4. I've been trying to make him work as well. So next set, I'm gonna be talking a lot about that. I'm gonna make more budget decks, so let me know if you guys want to see any of that. Thank you for liking, watching, subscribing. Go to Vegetas Saiyan Army on Facebook, and I'll see you guys next time. Play Majin Vegeta. Have some fun. Drop $300. Love you guys. See you later.